The kiss came out of nowhere, a spark in the chaos of a crowded Seattle bar, and it burned through me like wildfire. Leo's lips pressed against mine, bold and unapologetic, as his ex, Marcus, stood frozen across the room, his drink trembling in his hand. In that fleeting moment, I, Ezra Chun, became a pawn in a game I didn't sign up for yet I couldn't pull away. It was a Friday night in Capitol Hill, the heart of Seattle's queer scene, where neon lights bled into the October mist. Leo Jackson, a 28-year-old graphic designer with a smile that could melt glaciers, had invited me to this dive bar, The Cuff, for what he called a casual hang. I'd known him for 6 months, ever since we met at a local art gallery where his vibrant murals caught my eye. I was 26, a barista and aspiring poet, still finding my footing in a city that felt too big for my small-town roots. Leo was magnetic tall, black, with a laugh that filled rooms and eyes that held stories I hadn't dared to ask about. We'd been friends, or so I thought, until that kiss rewrote everything. The bar pulsed with music, a remix of Chappell Roan's latest hit, and bodies swayed under dim lights. Marcus, Leo's ex, was there 30, white, with a sharp jawline and a reputation for breaking hearts. They'd dated for 2 years, a stormy relationship that ended 6 months ago, right before I met Leo. I'd heard the rumors. Marcus cheated. Leo walked away, but the tension between them still crackled like a live wire. I didn't know Marcus would be at the bar that night. I didn't know Leo had a plan. Ezra, Semir, Leo had said, pulling me close as Marcus watched from the corner. His hand rested on my waist. Casual but deliberate. Just go with it. Before I could protest, his lips met mine. Soft at first, then hungry. The kiss wasn't for might, it was a performance. A calculated move to make Marcus jealous. I knew it, yet my heart raced, betraying me. When we pulled apart, Marcus's glare cut through the crowd, but Leo just grinned, slinging an arm around my shoulders like we were something real. I should have walked away right then. Instead, I stayed, caught in the gravity of Leo's charm. Later that night, as we left the bar, he called me babe for the first time, his voice low and teasing. Thanks for playing along, babe, he said, winking. I laughed it off, but the word lingered, warm and dangerous. By Monday, the game had shifted. Leo texted me, dinner tonight, babe. My treat. I stared at the message, my thumb hovering over the screen. Was this still a game? Or had that kiss sparked something neither of us expected? I agreed to meet him at a cozy Italian place in Fremont, telling myself it was just dinner. But when he showed up in a tailored jacket, his eyes locking onto mine like I was the only person in the room, I felt the ground tilt beneath me. Over pasta and candlelight, Leo was different, attentive, vulnerable. He talked about his childhood in Atlanta, raised by a single mom who taught him to paint. He asked about my poetry, my dreams, my fears. When he reached across the table to brush a strand of hair from my face, calling me babe again, it didn't feel like a performance. It felt real. Too real. But Marcus was still in the picture. Leo's phone buzzed all night, and I caught a glimpse of Marcus's name on the screen. Leo ignored the texts, but I saw the tension in his jaw. He's just trying to get under my skin, Leo muttered. But I wondered if Marcus was the only one doing that. Was I just a tool to make his ex jealous? Or was Leo starting to feel something for me? The next week was a whirlwind. Leo called me babe every night, his voice soft over the phone as we talked until 2 a.m. He invited me to his art studio, where he showed me a half-finished mural of a phoenix rising from flames. "This is you," he said, pointing to a streak of gold in the design. "You're brighter than you think." Ezra. I blushed, my heart a tangled mess of hope and doubt. Then came the gallery opening. Leo's latest work was being showcased, and he asked me to be his +1. I arrived in my best blazer, nervous but excited, only to find Marcus there, leaning against a wall with a smirk. Leo's hand found mine, squeezing tight, and I felt like a prop again. "Don't let him ruin this," Leo whispered, but his eyes were on Marcus, not me. The night escalated when Marcus cornered us, his words sharp. "So, Leo, you're slumming it now," he sneered, glancing at me. I flinched, but Leo stepped forward, his voice low and dangerous. "Back off, Marcus. Ezra's more than you'll ever be." My heart soared, but the doubt lingered. Was this for me, or for Marcus? As we left the gallery, Leo kissed me again, this time slow and deliberate, under the streetlights. "Babe," he murmured against my lips, "you're not just a game." But as we walked away, his phone buzzed again. Marcus. I wanted to believe him, but the shadow of his ex loomed large, and I wasn't sure whose heart Leo was trying to win. The weeks that followed were a tightrope walk between hope and heartbreak. Leo's babe became a nightly ritual, slipping into our conversations like a melody I couldn't shake. Each call, each text, pulled me deeper into his orbit, but Marcus's shadow clung to us like damp Seattle fog. I started noticing the cracks in Leo's confidence. At a coffee shop in Belltown, he'd check his phone obsessively, his fingers twitching when Marcus's name popped up. "He's just messing with me," Leo said, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of something: regret, maybe, or unresolved longing. I wanted to ask, to demand clarity, but I was too afraid of the answer. Instead, I let him call me babe, let his arm drape around me in public, let myself believe this was more than a rebound. One rainy afternoon, we ended up at Pike Place Market, dodging tourists and vendors shouting about fresh salmon. Leo bought me a small bouquet of dahlias, their vibrant pinks and yellows a stark contrast to the gray sky. "For you, babe," he said, tucking a flower behind my ear. My heart stuttered, but then I saw him glance at his phone again. Another text from Marcus. I couldn't ignore it anymore. "Leo," I said, my voice steadier than I felt, "what's going on with you and Marcus?" He froze, the flowers trembling in his hand. For a moment, I thought he'd brush it off, but he sighed, his shoulders slumping. "Marcus and I, it's complicated. He hurt me, Ezra, badly, but he's got this way of crawling back, making me question everything." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "And me? Am I just a way to make him jealous?" His eyes snapped to mine, wide and earnest. "No. God, no. You're different. You make me feel like I can be myself again." He reached for my hand, but I pulled back, the dahlias suddenly feeling heavy in my grip. "Then why do you keep looking at his texts?" I asked, my voice cracking. Leo ran a hand over his face, the weight of his past etched in his expression. "I don't know how to let him go completely, but I want to. Ezra, I want to try with you." That night, he called me babe again, but it felt different, like a promise he wasn't sure he could keep. I lay awake, replaying his words, wondering if I was falling for someone who was still tethered to his past. The turning point came at a drag show in Pioneer Square. Leo had insisted we go, saying it would be fun, a chance to let loose. The venue was electric, queens strutting under neon lights, the crowd roaring with applause. Leo was radiant, laughing and cheering, his arm around me like it belonged there. For a moment, I let myself believe we were real, that Marcus was just a ghost. Then I saw him. Marcus, leaning against the bar, his eyes locked on us. My stomach dropped. Leo hadn't noticed him yet, but I could feel the tension building, like a storm about to break. When the queen on stage called for volunteers, Leo dragged me up, his grin mischievous. We danced, clumsy but carefree, and for those few minutes, it was just us. But Marcus wasn't done. As we stepped off the stage, he approached, his voice dripping with venom. "Cute show, Leo. Using him to make me jealous again." Leo's jaw tightened, but I spoke first, my voice shaking but firm. I'm not a prop. Marcus. And Leo's not yours anymore. The crowd drowned out Marcus's response. But his glare said enough. Leo pulled me close, his breath warm against my ear. Babe, you're incredible, he whispered. And for the first time, I felt like he meant it for me. Not for Marcus. But the victory was short-lived. Later that night, Leo's phone lit up with a voicemail from Marcus. His voice slurred and desperate. You can't just replace me. Leo, you know we're not done. I heard it because Leo played it on speaker. His face unreadable. Ezra, he said, turning to me. I need to deal with this. For good. I nodded, my heart pounding. Do what you need to. But don't string me along. Leo, I deserve better than that. He looked at me like I'd just cracked open his world. You do, he said softly. And I'm going to prove it. The next morning, Leo showed up at my apartment in Queen Anne. His eyes red-rimmed but determined. He held a sketchbook, pages filled with drawings of Mimi profile at the coffee shop. My hands holding a pen, my smile under the market's lights. I've been working on these for weeks, he said, his voice raw. You're not a game. Ezra, you're my muse. I wanted to believe him, but Marcus's voicemail echoed in my mind. What about him? I asked, pointing to Leo's phone. What's your plan? Leo sat on my couch, his hands clasped tightly. I'm meeting him today. To end it. For real this time. My heart clenched. And if he doesn't let you go? He doesn't get a say? Leo said, his voice steady. I choose you. Those words should have been enough. But doubt gnawed at me. I'd seen the way Marcus's presence shifted Leo's mood, like a storm cloud over a sunny day. Still, I let Leo leave for his meeting, promising to call me after. Hours passed, each one heavier than the last. I tried writing poetry, but the words felt hollow. My phone stayed silent, and by evening, I was pacing my tiny apartment, imagining Leo and Marcus reconciling, laughing at how I'd been played. When my phone finally buzzed, it wasn't a call, it was a text. Babe, I'm outside. Can we talk? Leo stood on my doorstep, soaked from the rain, his expression a mix of relief and exhaustion. It's done, he said. I told Marcus we're over. No more games. No more texts. I blocked him. I searched his face for hesitation, but all I saw was sincerity. Why now? I asked. Because you called me out, he said, stepping closer. You made me see what I was too scared to admit. I'm falling for you, Ezra, and I'm done letting my past hold me back. He kissed me then, not for show, not for Marcus, but for us. It was soft, tentative, like he was asking permission to start something new. I kissed him back, my doubts melting under the warmth of his touch. But life isn't a fairy tale. The next day, Marcus posted a cryptic story on Instagram, a photo of Leo's old mural with the caption, "Some things never fade." My stomach twisted. Leo swore he hadn't seen Marcus since their talk, but the post felt like a taunt, a reminder that Marcus wasn't giving up. I confronted Leo at his studio, where he was painting a new Paisea vibrant cityscape with two figures holding hands under a starry sky. Is he still in your head? I asked, my voice sharper than I meant. Leo set down his brush, his eyes meeting mine. No. He's trying to get under my skin, but he's not in here. He tapped his chest. You are. I wanted to believe him, but the weight of Marcus's presence lingered. We spent the next few days together, trying to build something real. Leo took me to a jazz club in Columbia City, where we danced to soulful saxophone melodies, his hands steady on my hips. He called me babe with a softness that felt like home. But every buzz of his phone made me flinch, expecting Marcus's name. Then came the night that changed everything. Leo invited me to a rooftop party in West Seattle, hosted by his friend Aisha, a 29-year-old black trans woman with a laugh as bright as her neon dress. The city sparkled below us. And Leo was different, lighter. Freer. He introduced me as his boyfriend. The word slipping out so naturally, I almost missed it. Boyfriend. I teased later, as we sat on the rooftop's edge, our legs dangling over the city. Leo grinned, his hand finding mine. Yeah, babe. If you're okay with it. I was more than okay. For the first time, I felt like we were building something real, something Marcus couldn't touch. But as we kissed under the stars, I couldn't shake the feeling that the past wasn't done with us yet. The bubble burst a week later. I was at work, steaming milk for a latte, when my coworker, Priya, showed me her phone. Marcus had posted a video on X, a blurry clip of Leo at a bar, laughing with him, timestamped 2 nights ago. The caption read, "Old flames burn brighter." My heart sank. Leo had told me he was working late that night, not out with Marcus. I called him, my hands shaking. What the hell? Leo, you said you were done with him. Ezra. Wait. He said, his voice frantic. That video's old. He's messing with us. I was at my studio. I swear. I wanted to believe him, but the seed of doubt had taken root. Then why didn't you tell me you were out? I snapped. I wasn't. Check my location history if you don't believe me. I didn't want to be that person, the one who checks phones and demands proof. But the video gnawed at me, and Marcus's taunts felt like knives. I agreed to meet Leo at his place, a small loft in Ballard filled with canvases and paint-splattered furniture. He showed me his phone, his location data confirming he'd been at his studio. Ezra, I'm not lying to you, he said, his voice breaking. Marcus is trying to ruin this. Don't let him. I sat on his couch, my head in my hands. I want to trust you, Leo, but this is exhausting. He knelt in front of me, his hands on my knees. I know, and I'm sorry I dragged you into my mess. But I'm all in, babe. I love you. The words hit me like a tidal wave. Love. He'd never said it before, and neither had I. I looked into his eyes, searching for the truth, and found it in the way he held my gaze. Unwavering. I love you too, I whispered, the admission terrifying and exhilarating. We spent the night talking, unraveling the mess of our fears and hopes. Leo told me about Marcus's manipulation, how he'd always known how to push Leo's buttons. I'm done letting him control me, Leo said. I want a future with you, Ezra. No games. The next day, we decided to confront Marcus together. Leo arranged to meet him at a public park in Green Lake. Neutral ground. I stood by Leo's side as Marcus approached, his smirk faltering when he saw me. Leo, you don't need this guy, Marcus said, gesturing at me. We had something real. Had, Leo said firmly. Past tense. I'm with Ezra now, and you need to stop. Marcus laughed, bitter and sharp. You'll come crawling back. You always do. I stepped forward, my voice steady. He won't. And if you keep this up, we'll make sure everyone knows what you're doing. Marcus's face darkened, but he backed off, muttering something under his breath. As he walked away, Leo squeezed my hand, his relief palpable. Thank you, babe, he said. I couldn't have done that without you. For the first time, I felt like we'd won. But the victory was fragile, and I knew trust would take time to rebuild. We spent the next few weeks rebuilding, piece by piece. Leo deleted Marcus's number, unfollowed him on social media, and focused on us. We cooked dinners together, watched old movies, wrote poetry inspired by his art. Each babe felt like a step towards something solid. But Marcus wasn't done. A late-night email arrived, forwarded from an anonymous account, containing photos of Leo and Marcus from years ago, intimate and raw. The message read, "He'll never love you like he loved me." I showed Leo, expecting him to spiral. Instead, he pulled me close, his voice steady. Those are old. Ezra. And they don't mean anything. You're my present, my future. I believed him. But as we held each other, I couldn't shake the fear that Marcus's ghost would always linger, waiting for a crack to slip through. Winter settled over Seattle, blanketing the city in a quiet chill. Leo and I grew closer, our days filled with small, beautiful moments, a shared scarf on a snowy walk, late-night poetry readings by his fireplace, his hand finding mine under cafe tables. But Marcus's email had left a scar, a reminder that love, even when real, is fragile. One evening, as we decorated a tiny Christmas tree in my apartment, Leo turned to me, his eyes soft. "Babe, I want to do something for you. Something big." I laughed, stringing a star on the tree, bigger than calling me babe every 5 minutes. He grinned, but his expression turned serious. "I'm painting a mural for you, at the community center in Rainier Valley. It's going up next week, and I want you to be there." My heart swelled. The community center was a haven for queer youth, a place Leo volunteered at, teaching art to kids who reminded him of his younger self. The idea that he'd dedicate a mural to me felt like a promise carved in color. The unveiling was a crisp January night, the community center buzzing with kids, volunteers, and locals. Aisha was there, her neon energy lighting up the room, along with Priya and other friends we'd grown close to. Leo stood by the covered mural, nervous but proud, his hand in mine. When he pulled the tarp away, I gasped. The mural was a vibrant explosion of color, two figures, unmistakably us, standing under a phoenix of gold and crimson, their hands linked against a starry sky. Below, in bold letters, it read, "Love rises above." The crowd cheered, but I could only stare, tears prickling my eyes. "Babe," Leo whispered, pulling me close. "This is us. No matter what." The moment was perfect until Marcus appeared. He stood at the edge of the crowd, his face unreadable. My stomach twisted, but Leo didn't flinch. He stepped forward, addressing the crowd but looking at Marcus. "This mural is for Ezra, the person who showed me what real love looks like. It's also for anyone who's ever felt trapped by their past. You can rise above it." The crowd applauded, and Marcus slipped away, his presence no longer a threat but a fading echo. For the first time, I felt free not just of Marcus, but of the doubt that had haunted me. That night, as we lay in bed, Leo traced circles on my hand. "I'm sorry for how this started," he said. "The kiss, the games. But I'm not sorry for where it led us." I kissed him, slow and sure. "You're stuck with me now, babe." He laughed, the sound warm and full. "Good, because I'm not going anywhere." Months later, spring bloomed, and so did we. Leo's mural became a local landmark, a symbol of resilience and love. Marcus faded from our lives, his attempts to disrupt us growing weaker until they stopped. Leo and I moved in together, our apartment a mix of his paints and my poems, a testament to the life we were building. The kiss that started as a spark of jealousy had ignited something real, something lasting. Every night, when Leo called me babe, it wasn't just a word, it was a vow, a reminder that love, when fought for, can rise above anything.